Greetings and salutations, YouTubers. This is ZillaFan85, and now I want to go ahead and talk about what is my all-time favorite anime, and that, of course, is none other than Dragon Ball Z. Oh, yes, and this is an anime that I have loved ever since I was a young child. I've been wanting to do a video on DBZ for a long time. Since I've started making these YouTube videos, just finally decided to go ahead and do so, and I was inspired. I'll get into that in just a moment here, to finally go ahead and make this video. I'm not going to get into a whole lot. I mean, obviously, again, and as I've stated before in previous videos, that DBZ is my favorite anime of all time, and that I'm a big time anime fan in general. Obviously, having said that, I'm definitely planning to make more Dragon Ball videos, as well as videos on other anime. You know what I mean? So today I kind of just wanted to go ahead and make this, though, just to finally get my my touch, basically, if you will, with Dragon Ball Z, just to discuss it a bit. Obviously, again, it being my favorite anime, it's something that I can talk about, all day long, basically, and never get tired of it. But obviously I don't want to go into too much today, so I'm just going to kind of touch on a couple things, that I wanted to bring up as like a sort of initial DBZ video, Dragon Ball video, just to discuss a few things today. And like I said, definitely plan to make more Dragon Ball videos in the future, DBZ, as well as probably discussing things with with Super and whatnot. Obviously, I already have, I saw the teaser trailer for the upcoming Dragon Ball Super movie, which now we've all found out is going to be Broly. It's going to be called, I believe it's going to be called Dragon Ball Super Broly, I think is what it's going to be called. So obviously Broly will be making his return, and obviously be the villain in the movie. But as I'm understanding that Akira Toriyama is obviously masterminding the whole story of this time, that it's going to be a new origin for Broly, so it's not going to be the same as what we had seen in the previous movies, that featured Broly. The first two Broly movies in the past were good, and Bio Broly is, I definitely agree with most other DBZ fans that are not too fond of Bio Broly, but Broly the Legendary Super Saiyan and Broly Second Coming were both pretty decent movies, especially the original Broly movie. But I'm looking forward to seeing the new take. Hopefully, at least I believe that we will get a theatrical release of that here in America, from what I'm understanding. And I don't know if it's been confirmed, but I would assume Vic Mignogna is going to reprise his role as Broly, so that'll be pretty awesome as well. So that was kind of what sparked me to finally make a DBZ video here today. As well as, like I said, just been really wanting to do one, period. And though the other big thing that sparked me with this is that next weekend I will be attending all weekend, or essentially all weekend anyways, from Friday night through Sunday, Anime Festival AFO, which is in Orlando, Florida. So I'm definitely really excited for that. My friend, as a gift for the holidays, bought me the full weekend pass. So I'm really excited to go to that. Unfortunately, I do have to work Friday. I recently got a job finally, after being out of work for a while, for quite a while. But won't get into all that. But obviously, though, being new there, unfortunately, I can't take any time off, so I do have to work Friday. But I'll be heading, heading over to the convention from there. Essentially, though, it'll be a bit of a drive, but at least I'll still get to catch somewhat of the events because they're having stuff go on until late night. So at least I'll still get to take part a bit. Friday night, and then of course all day Saturday and pretty much all day Sunday. So I'm really excited for that. So like I said, I'm a big time anime fan in general. Have been for many years. And in the more recent years, I've definitely expanded my my anime library, if you will. That there's a lot more that I picked up on in the recent years. I would say that I got into a lot more and became huge fans of. Which I was really glad because, like I said, I really do love anime in general. But obviously, Dragon Ball Z is and always will be my all-time favorite, and it's one of my favorite fandoms. Period. It's right up there, with Godzilla for me. So it's just about on that level. So that's obviously now kind of shows you how much I am into it. So, like I said, I just adore it, and just happy to be able to make a video on it. And I'm always happy to be able to talk about anything Dragon Ball related with anybody else who's into it. So, so like I said, for today, there's just a couple of things I wanted to touch on, other than sort of my initial Dragon Ball talk, which, like I said, I'll get into those things in just a moment here. So, just a couple other things I wanted to touch on, though, too, before I get into that. Dragon Ball Z was not my first ever anime, though, that I was introduced to. That honor actually goes to Speed Racer, believe it or not, the original version of Speed Racer from the 60s. That was my first ever introduction to anime. I was trying to think of how old I was. I think I was probably around, probably around 8 or so. When I first watched Speed Racer, and then shortly thereafter, another anime that I got introduced to, which of course again became a big fan of as well, is Gigantor, and specifically the New Adventures of Gigantor. I remember watching it on Sci-Fi Channel back when I was a kid, and became a big time fan of that. So obviously the Japanese title for it, Tetsujin 28. But, obviously, like I said, I've always grown up watching the dub stuff, so that's what I'm used to. So, New Adventures of Gigantor. I'm hoping maybe eventually I can, get the series on DVD or Blu-ray. You know what I mean? I'd like to do that eventually, as well as another anime that I really like, which I got into later on in my teenage years, is Fist of the North Star. I'd like to maybe get that, get the sets of that on DVD or Blu-ray eventually. So. But we'll see, though. But, in the midst of all that, in my, probably, I'd say my early teen years, for sure my early teen years, is when I truly got introduced to DBZ. I remember seeing it on, like, some cable station. I don't remember which one it was when I was, like a preteen, I'd say, but I'd never really got, it looked really cool at the time, but I just didn't really get much of a chance to see it. But then, I, as so many other people, and it's always fun to discuss it, got into Toonami once that started airing on Cartoon Network, and that was my big introduction to DBZ, as well as Sailor Moon, which is another anime that I really like a lot as well. Mainly so Sailor Moon R, because that's what I was mostly used to watching on Toonami. So I was glad to get the sets of those, and obviously I have the entirety of DBZ on DVD. I have the the orange brick box sets of those, and I have all of GT as well, which I do. Just to be honest with you, you can call it a guilty pleasure, or whatever. I happen to like GT. I know a lot of people bash on it, and some people like it. Not a lot of people do. I happen to really enjoy it though. And especially so, I mean, it's not the story-wise and everything wasn't the greatest. I mean, it's definitely not anywhere near on par with DBZ or when you think about it, or Dragon Ball. But obviously out of all the Dragon Ball series, DBZ is cream of the crop for me, of course, and I'm liking Super. I'm only, again, watching on Toonami, so I haven't seen it in its entirety, but obviously watching it as it airs on Toonami, so seeing up to where we've been at so far, I'm hoping, because I know of, like, what's supposed to happen, essentially, hopefully it should be soon that the Tournament of Power should be starting to air. I know we've got to be really close to that point, so I'm really, really looking forward to that and that whole introduction, and of course, obviously, the whole bit with Goku going Ultra Instinct and all that. So I'm looking forward to seeing all that, but not quite there yet. So, but I'm enjoying Super though. But again, though, it's still not anywhere near as on par as DBZ is for me. So, but GT, like I said, I happen to like it, and especially so, I really love Super Saiyan 4, which is probably my one of, if not my absolute favorite level of Super Saiyan. So, Super Saiyan 3 though is pretty close as well. It's another level of Super Saiyan I really like. But like I said, though, I just kind of wanted to go into that. So, yeah, so my true introduction was, like I said, through Toonami, and just became really hooked from there, and like I said, Toonami got me into, obviously, DBZ, as well as Sailor Moon and some other anime, when they did the port, obviously, for the old school Voltron, got into that, got into Zoids, trying to think of what some of the others were that they had back then. Obviously there was a lot more than that. I know later on they started airing, I think for their late night showings, they aired Yu Yu Hakusho, which I really liked as well. Just so many different ones though, and of course, in the recent years, the ones that they've aired, every Saturday night, I've gotten into as well. My newest addition to my repertoire is My Hero Academia, which is an awesome anime. I'm loving it so far. So can't wait to see how that one unfolds as I continue watching. But many, many others, in the mix, of course. So, but as far as DBZ goes, like I said, so just some key things today that I want to touch on. Like I said, I definitely plan to make more of these videos. There's just a couple things that I wanted to hit on today. I know I'm already kind of carrying on just on some sort of general talk about Dragon Ball Z. But a couple things that I wanted to hit on are, obviously, as you can see here, wanted to touch on my personal two favorite characters of Dragon Ball Z, and that, of course, is Goku and Vegeta. And of course, in that order, Goku. My personal favorite is Goku, and my second favorite is Vegeta. Though I know a lot of people do tend to be more of a Vegeta fan, and like I said, I love Vegeta. Again, he's my second favorite character. He's absolutely awesome, and for sure, hands down, out of every character in the show, he's got the most character development, and it's really, really awesome to see the way his character does develop as the series goes along, from when you first see him, back in the Saiyan arc of DBZ, all the way up into the end, and of course nowadays into Super. The way that his character has changed is just amazing, and he's just such an awesome presence every time that you see him on scene, and and of course too with Funimation's dub, I got to give so much credit to Christopher Sabat because he is amazing. So he really hits it out of the park. And I did with the Ocean dub. I did like Brian Drummond as well. And obviously, when I was first introduced to DBZ, that was the dub that they were showing. So it was weird when they did switch the voices over. As well as so many others, do kind of feel in that boat. And obviously the over 9,000 line is always going to be a classic, to me especially. Uh, but but obviously though, as time went along, with watching Christopher Sabat, I really became attached to him, and he's easily far and away my favorite voice of Vegeta. So and it was cool at MegaCon. They had him and the gentleman, forget his name off the top of my head, the Japanese voice actor of Vegeta. They had a panel with them, as well as Sean Schemmel, who of course is my favorite, voice of Goku. Hands down. To me, there is no other Goku than Sean Schemmel, and he was awesome to meet in person as well. So. So so like I said though, these are my two favorite characters, but for me Goku is my favorite because I feel like I'm more in that kind of line. That's why I like obviously, as I had stated in previous video, that Superman of course is my favorite superhero of all time, and Goku, who's kind of in that Superman-ish vein, is my is my favorite DBZ character. I like his personality. I think in Super they've made him a little too goofy at times. I'm not. I like it when it's got a bitter, or not a bitter, but a bit of a bitter mix. Bit of a better mix, between his kind of silliness, but then his, his straight-faced, we need to get down to business attitude. In Super, it seems a little more skewed to him acting silly instead of serious, which obviously I know that's kind of the direction that they wanted to go. They wanted to make it a little more lighthearted in Super. But I definitely like the silly and goofiness, but I like that whole, serious tone, that we know that things, when villains are attacking or whatever, that that we've got a serious situation on our hands. You know what I mean? And that's why DBZ just kind of nails it. I think it's got the best mix, honestly. Some others will disagree, but I just kind of feel that that Goku's personality in Z I like better than his personality in Super. So, and like I said, don't get me wrong, I like some of the silly humor there, but I just think Z is better done. That that's just me. Like I said, it's just my opinion. But like I said though, otherwise though, his silliness, but then serious when need to, and just how he's kind of got that heroic presence about him. Obviously, again, being a Superman fan, is what kind of really sparked me to get into Goku, because obviously we know that there are similarities between the two characters. So Goku, obviously not only my favorite DBZ character, but my favorite anime character, period, and you know what I mean, and just one of my favorite characters, period. Definitely. Along with Superman, definitely Goku is a hero of mine, and something that I aspire to be like. So that's kind of where we go with that. Excuse me. But Goku and Vegeta, though, like I said, they are easily my two favorite characters. Though I love both of their personalities. Though Vegeta, and he's got that sort of badass attitude about him. I love that though as well. And like I said, he's always such an excellent presence. Anytime you see him on screen. So so that's obviously why. Why I wanted to kind of go ahead and mention that, especially in this video, just to kind of bring that up first and foremost, that these are the two characters that I love seeing the most, obviously my two favorite. And kind of going with that, I want to segue into this. So just a little bit more. Obviously, I've already kind of touched on it a bit, but like I said, just wanted to give Goku that extra nod because, again, he is a hero of mine, and of course, my absolute favorite DBZ character, my favorite Dragon Ball character. Um, and my favorite anime character, period. So, like I said, I love everything about him. You know what I mean? I love his silliness. I love, how he gets serious, though, when he needs to. And that, he's always ready for... well, yeah, I mean, obviously he's always ready for a fight, but he's always ready to protect his friends and family and do whatever it takes, to... basically to save the world, save the universe, and stop what other villain is threatening everything. So, like I said, he's got that heroic presence about him, and that's something that I'm really into. So that's why his personality is what I kind of most equate to. So, and like I said, definitely like all his various forms. Of course, I'm a big fan of the Super Saiyan transformation, period. But among my favorites, well, my two favorites for sure are Super Saiyan 3 and Super Saiyan 4. Kind of debatable which one would be 1 and 2, but those are the forms of his that I like the most for sure. I do like Super Saiyan Blue. It's a cool transformation. But to me, though, just how I like it, just not quite as on par with my personal preferences as Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan 4. Obviously, we know it's much, much stronger than Super Saiyan 3, and then, of course, Super Saiyan 4 is that whole big debate that nobody really knows which form is stronger. So, but nonetheless, though, it's a form that I like, but it's just not my favorite, though. That's the thing. So, the blue form, though, I do like better than the Super Saiyan God form, the red form. And obviously, I've seen the clips of Ultra Instinct and, of course, Mastered Ultra Instinct, and I definitely like Mastered Ultra Instinct. It looks pretty awesome. From what I'm understanding, it's not a Saiyan-only transformation, though, so it's not really something that you'd equate in with the Super Saiyan transformations, etc., etc. But definitely something that I can't wait to see once I get to that point with Dragon Ball Super. So obviously, continuing along with Toonami's airings, so I know we'll get there eventually. So looking forward to that for sure. And of course, I know of Jiren and how much of a beast of a fighter he is. So that's a lot of stuff I'm looking forward to and anticipating on seeing. So, but again, Goku, the main character of the Dragon Ball series, really, it centers around him. I know, or at least I believe from what I understand, that at the end of the Cell arc, when Goku had sacrificed himself, and obviously Gohan was the one that ended up finally defeating Cell, that I believe that they were going to transition to make Gohan the main character, but then decided, eventually not to go that route and just continue on with Goku as the main character. It would have been interesting to see Gohan as the main character. Is kind of disappointing the way that he kind of ended up becoming, where he lost a lot of his power, is a lot of his strength and abilities. Because he's definitely a character that I like a lot as well, Gohan. So it was kind of disappointing to see how he kind of turned out. Although his, when the Elder Kai unlocked his mystic ability, though, that was pretty awesome. Though I definitely enjoyed that in the Buu arc. But like I said, Goku just being my favorite character, though. Personal bias is why I'm kind of glad that they stuck with that, with him, at the helm. So, to me, he is Dragon Ball in my eyes. So I really love Goku so much. I know a lot of other videos that I've seen, a lot of people, praising Vegeta and all. And like I said, Vegeta's my second favorite, but Goku's my favorite, and I gotta give him all the support that I can, of course. So, like I said, he he will always be the cream of the crop for me. And again, I love everything about him. So again, just some stuff that I wanted to touch on there, and obviously, again, in future videos, we'll talk more about, just Goku in general, as well as just other stuff with DBZ. But obviously, just another thing that I wanted to touch on here with the video. And that, of course, is none other than Dragon Ball Z's villains. And the three main villains of the series, obviously Frieza, Cell, and Majin Buu, and they're all awesome villains to me. Majin Buu, out of his many different forms that he takes on, to me, Kid Buu is the best. Super Buu is pretty cool, especially like with the whole, especially once he absorbed Gohan's power. That was a cool segment, and of course when Goku and Vegeta used the Potara earrings to fuse into Vegito, I really like that a lot. But form-wise, definitely like Kid Buu the best. Frieza, of course, his final form. Even though it's kind of a more plain-looking form than some of his previous ones, but that's just kind of the cool aura about it. The fact that it's nothing special, but yet he's so incredibly powerful in that form. And then, of course, Cell with his perfect form, perfect / super perfect, because they both look the same. Just that super perfect, he's powered up even more. Excuse me. But I think all three of the villains, I think they're awesome, and they fit the show. They fit it to a T, and especially with progressing the whole story and how it shapes out to be. The Buu arc in general, I admit, like a lot of other people do, have said that it is really the sort of weaker arc in the series. Obviously the one that it winds down to in the end. But I still enjoy it though. I like the fusions, especially of course Vegito. But I did like with Goten and Trunks fusing into Gotenks. I like Gotenks a lot, especially when he goes Super Saiyan 3, and he's just awesome to watch. So there's a lot of things that I do like with the Buu arc. It's just story-wise and everything, though, it's not quite as well done as the other two major arcs. The Frieza arc and the Cell arc. But again, like I said, I like all three villains. My personal favorite, though, out of the villains is Frieza, hands down. I'm a huge Frieza fan, and like I said, I love Kid Buu, I love Cell, but Frieza is my favorite. And to me, it was really awesome to see, because obviously the whole storyline of Dragon Ball, or even if you want to go as a prequel to that with Bardock, and of course that whole movie with Bardock, and then of course with getting to see Goku when he was sent off to Earth, just before Frieza destroyed planet Vegeta, obviously killing Bardock and most of the other Saiyans, in general at that point, obviously minus out a few, Goku, Raditz, Vegeta, and Nappa, the main ones that survived. Pretty much all the ones that survived. I think there was rumor that there were other Saiyans out there, but But anyway, though, nonetheless, though, just with seeing that, and then of course knowing all of Dragon Ball taking place, I like Dragon Ball as a series, but for me it just doesn't hit it like DBZ does. My favorite part of Dragon Ball is towards the end, with the World Martial Arts Tournament, when you actually see Goku I like Kid Goku, but I like his adult form much better. And so when you see that sort of end part of Dragon Ball with the World Martial Arts Tournament, and you see Goku take on Piccolo, the Piccolo Jr., obviously, after King Piccolo died and spat out the egg, which hatched into Piccolo Jr., or the Piccolo that we all know and love from DBZ. And of course, I like that version of Piccolo the best. And Piccolo is definitely one of the characters that I really like a lot as well, up there with my favorites. So anyway, though, that was my favorite part of Dragon Ball. But then though, but then you get into DBZ, and then you get introduced to, when it's finally revealed that Goku is not of the Earth, that he's actually a Saiyan. Obviously, when Raditz arrives on Earth, and then of course later on when you get Vegeta and Nappa arriving and all that, and you could kind of just tell, obviously, that it is building to something, and of course going into it not really knowing what it was going to be at the time, and then them finally revealing Frieza, and knowing that kind of all this took place up until this point because of Frieza. So it was kind of, to me, felt like the big culmination, you know what I mean? And then obviously the whole build up to Frieza and Goku, locking going fisticuffs here, and exchanging blows, obviously, with the big battle that they had, and then of course the ultimate with Goku finally going Super Saiyan for the first time. So that, to me, it was just, that whole thing was just amazing. And that's when you see Vegeta essentially change face too, and he reveals how how much Frieza damaged him emotionally and everything too, you know what I mean, right before Frieza had killed him, and then obviously he was later revived with the Dragon Balls, but that was a very emotional scene, and there's just so much with the Frieza arc, the whole Namek and Frieza arc, that I really loved, and that's why it was my favorite part of the series. So and obviously too, Frieza, my favorite villain. So it was cool that they brought him back for Super. I would have liked to have seen Cell. It's kind of disappointing, that if they brought Cell back as well, that it would have been cool. Obviously we know Majin Buu, the fat Buu, is already there because he's obviously with the heroes now. It would have just been nice to see Cell brought back as well. But obviously Frieza being my favorite villain, it's definitely nice to see him back, and I know he will be back again in the Tournament of Power, so I'm looking forward to that as well, and especially seeing that I guess he's going to have some character development and kind of change, well, not really become less evil, I guess, but kind of be forced to work with the Z Fighters and all, so that'll be really interesting to see. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, so definitely though, just DBZ's villains in general, I really love. They've all got an awesome presence about them, and they're all awesome for their own reasons. So definitely some stuff that I was glad to talk about there. And then one other thing that I did want to bring up too, which I just thought it would be kind of a cool little thing to share, and that is this. And it was something that I was kind of alluding to previously when, like I said, at a couple different occasions at MegaCon, I had gotten to meet both Christopher Sabat and Sean Schemmel. Both are really awesome guys, really nice and really fun to talk to. And so I was really excited to meet them. And with that, both of them had signed 2 of my Dragon Ball sets. Obviously, as you can see here, my showcasing season 1, of course, signed by Christopher Sabat, the voice of Vegeta, and season 2 signed by none other than Sean Schemmel, the voice of Goku. So obviously, with their with their respective pictures being featured on the box sets, obviously that making sense, of course. So, but I was really excited about that. I really, it's something that I really treasure. I treasure the box sets in general, but with these 2 being signed, to me it's just really awesome. And so it's just kind of something that I wanted to share. Like I said, both Christopher Sabat and Sean Schemmel were awesome. Hopefully I'll get to meet them again at future conventions. But we'll see what happens. So I don't believe that they are. I'm understanding they're not going to be at AFO, but they will. They will be, but not them, but Colleen Clinkenbeard, none other of the Funimation voice actors. She will be there. I met her previously at a MegaCon. We got a picture taken, but my friend lost the picture. So to make up for it, we're going to get it again, and he's going to cover for the picture. So I'm looking forward to that. She was pretty cool as well. But I really loved Christopher Sabat and Sean Schemmel. So having these box sets signed, it's just something that I really, really treasure. So that's kind of why I wanted to bring it up. So just to share, it's fun to talk about. But other than that, just some general stuff that I wanted to discuss today on Dragon Ball Z. This did actually turn out to be longer than I wanted to. Like I said, I can ramble on all day about DBZ, Dragon Ball topics in general, but we don't want to carry on for too much longer here. So with that, alrighty, folks, this does pretty much bring us to the end of the video. Like I said, Dragon Ball Z, my all-time favorite anime. I really love it. A huge fan. I'm a huge anime fan in general. So just touched on some things today, which again, I know I kind of carried on longer than I wanted to. I apologize about that. But obviously, there's a lot more things that I can discuss with Dragon Ball, and I do have every intention to make more Dragon Ball videos in the future. More Dragon Ball Z videos in the future. Because there's a lot of other things to discuss, like I said, and obviously too, like I said, I want to make videos on other anime as well, other anime that I love. So I definitely intend to do all of that for future video installments. But with that, though, like I said, this does pretty much bring us to the end of this one. This wraps it up. So I do thank you so much for watching. If you would like to subscribe, please feel free to do so. If you would like to like and or comment on any of my videos, please feel free to do so as well. And definitely with this one, if you want to go ahead and drop comments down, share your thoughts and opinions on DBZ in general, as well as who your favorite characters are, favorite villains, etc., etc. I love discussing anything DBZ related. So, please feel free to share with me, But anyway, folks, though, again, thank you so much. And, just remember, though, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, you be good to yourselves, and sayonara.